Get some feedback there. Hey,
What's
Marlena, how you
going
doing?
It's Thursday.
We are in the house. Night moves tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, I had the volume up. I was listening to that good music right there, that EDM type. Actually, EDM is a big part of tonight. Okay. Yes, you want to dance now, don't you? Right? From
love some
and then
EDM
this, you get the
music.
Latin rhythms going on. Get a little bit of everything going on. How was your week so
Great.
far?
Running around, children, screaming, yelling.
Getting ready for summer?
Yes, I am.
It feels like summer in here, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
actually.
it really does. Actually, I didn't want to bring our host on yet because it's a special day for him. And
We're going to take up the heat for him first, and then we'll come up.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you something. This guy has been, he's been doing this show for, about 7 or 8 years, maybe 9 years now?
He's old.
9 years. Yeah, well, I'm older. I'm old.
Very mature.
We don't talk about age. Okay, so he's been doing this show for I think 9 years. Okay, there was a little break in between, but
Right.
But yeah, with Performer, first with Dirty Water and now with Performer.
Right.
So with Performer, I think it's been 6 years. Okay, and so we had him at a certain age, and now he's matured, but he still loves the nightlife.
He does.
Okay, and that's the most important thing, especially with this show, right?
And he knows how to move too, so don't get the age messed up.
Yes, he does.
Okay.
So we want everyone in the audience to give a nice, beautiful, happy birthday to our guy Joshua. Yay!
Thank you, bravo.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so here we go.
Happy birthday!
There you go. Happy birthday, Joshua.
Where's the cake?
Yeah, I didn't think about a cake. I don't need cake, right?
I'm trying to lose some lbs.
Is it?
See,
Well, then I'll take it.
Whoops, that's our guest.
I'm trying
Sorry about that. Put the wrong.
yeah.
See, I didn't get the cameras right. All right, you know what? We'll bring everybody in, and that way we can all say happy birthday, and then we can go back. So those are our guests for tonight.
Yes.
There's Steph on the top, and Allie in the middle, and Josh, of course, on the bottom. So
Surprise.
yeah, we're gonna turn the music down and sing happy birthday to Joshua to start us off first. Okay, you ready? All right, here we go.
Okay.
Happy birthday!
Oh,
Come
wow.
on, geez.
To you.
Come on, all right, come on. You're on camera here. Come on, never
Birthday
mind.
to you.
Happy birthday, dear Joshua.
Get the tambourine over here.
Oh God! Happy birthday to you.
Birthday to you.
There we go. Using all the El Mundo
Nice job. Quit
garbage.
your day job, folks.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me go back to Marlena just real
you.
quickly, and then we'll.
You know
fix-
what's so funny that Joshua just said that don't quit your day job, because me and the kids were singing the other day. He's like, "Yeah, you're beautiful, but you sing horrible." And I'm like, "Wow."
Those some honest kids there. Let me tell you. All right. I like that.
He was very honest.
Yeah.
that day.
Maybe a little too honest
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, who's your mother?"
for you. Well, we have a good show tonight. Well, I want to start off with what we did a couple of weeks ago tonight.
We
Okay?
all did. Yes, everyone in
We
this room.
all did, and it was fantastic, and we loved it. So Nouveau Networking, okay, and actually we'll bring Joshua in for this, for Nouveau Networking, because Joshua was a big part. Joshua introduced you
Yes.
with Nouveau Networking that night.
Which
And
he's always ready for.
he's always ready for action. Actually, Marcel, who does the morning show, he has this line he calls "Ready for Ready." So we were ready to go and ready for everybody else when we got there.
Ready Fit.
Yes.
Yeah, Ready Fit. That's right. It
My
fixed.
business, Ready
Yeah,
Fit.
you should take that. Ready for ready. That's a pretty good line for you too, isn't it? I'm ready for ready.
You're ready.
I like that. That actually works for you too, Joshua.
Yes, but it was a great night. It was very successful.
Very, yes.
The women that we have tonight, we also met there. So
Right.
we met, Nouveau Networking and French It's New. So it was a new way of networking, bringing people on the panel. We had Jasmine Miranda. She was a fashion production consultant. Megan Bernier. She's CEO of Mass Fashion Week and educator, and Friedrich Joseph, that is a
Nice dress, Marlena.
Thank you.
She was getting compliments
he
for
was
that
in
all night long.
self-mastery.
It's a good color on you.
Well,
It
that
is.
dress, not for nothing, I don't even know where I was going to wear it, but it's been sitting in my closet for like 5 years.
Wow.
And like back then when I tried it on, it didn't fit. And then that when I tried it on that day, I was like, oh, okay, I
That
got
makes you
it.
feel good, doesn't it?
Yes, I mean, it wasn't because I was trying to lose weight or anything like that. It was natural body, eating and, staying fit. Ready Fit, and you know, it was glued on like it was like a glove, okay, and it was like
It fits you well.
yes, it was like a spandex type of dress, so I was snatched that night, so
Yeah,
couldn't barely breathe.
You did a
but-
nice job.
She did an excellent job. I mean, it was the first time, and we had it at Down Ultra Lounge. I don't know if you know that place. It's underneath Howl at the Moon. It's down the stairs from Howl at the Moon.
Right.
And our host,
Thank you
SJ
to
Tours.
SJ.
Yeah, SJ Tours, who gave us the room that night, and it was phenomenal. He had a spread for us, food, and the people were great there. As a matter of fact, I might want to go back to some slides here.
Yes.
It was a mixture of people, young, old, all kinds of ethnicities,
Our
all kinds
loyal
of
people,
backgrounds,
yes.
different genres of expertise and skills.
Right.
Okay, we had photographers, we had musicians, we had artists, we had models, we had designers. This was just phenomenal, and everybody was sharing.
We had real estate.
Yeah,
What
okay.
else? We had people that were, you know, in equity, like doing equity. We had people that weren't even a model that wanted to know how to get into modeling. We had people that were already models and wanted to know how to get into like networking events. So there was a variety of people that I don't see in a fashion event mostly, but it was very on purpose why I did Nouveau Networking. Well, we all did Nouveau Networking because of the fact that we wanted to see more people in the industry, whether if you are, you know, have your own company or you don't, you know, this is where you would want to be to shout yourself out, promote your business, and, you know, be in the room and just show up. Show up and
What
show
I
out.
liked about it is that you did it in a TED Talk fashion,
Right.
which
Yes.
is different from other networking events where, you know, the drinks are pouring and people are dancing and having a good time.
I wanted to
Fun
make
too.
it very intimate.
Those are fun too, but you
Yes.
know, we like those, you know.
Don't get me wrong.
With alcohol.
The thing about that is I'm on my sobriety journey. So when it comes to me being like, I don't even drink when I'm on the job. Like when I go to an event, I don't even drink because of that, because I want to be present and I want to be able to understand where I'm at. So when it came to Nouveau, I didn't drink on purpose for that, even though I was so nervous.
Yeah, you don't want anything to disrupt your performance.
My flow.
Right.
Yeah,
True.
absolutely.
You can always have a good drink afterwards.
Yes, but I didn't because I was still working. But
Okay,
we
good for
had
you.
Joshua, you know, talking to the people, warming them up, very confident, very, you know, into tune what he was doing. And, you know, with the panelists, I wanted to make it very intimate because
Give
you
me
don't
too much
see
credit.
that. I do. You know, everyone has their role and you got to give credit where it's due. So even
I'm
Michael.
the hype man for you.
We're
That's true.
everyone.
You
I
really
mean,
were. You really
you
were.
do that for everyone, so we do appreciate that, Joshua. And Michael just being on live and occupying the guests that were there. We had Baker in the room marketing, taking videos. We had Keelan being able to be with Michael, very helpful. We just had so many people that were in the room that we see in all the events that we do, and they're so loyal. And they were like, Marlena, we don't hear this enough. And this is why it was very important for me, because people are starting their businesses and there's so much competition that it comes to a certain degree that it's like you want to have empathy for people that are starting up, because it's like at first you get discouraged, like no one's gonna believe in what I'm doing. But little do you know, when you go around people that do believe what you're doing, it just it drives you, it feeds that, you know, that monster inside of you. So everyone that was on the panel, I got to see a different side of them. They got to see a different side of me, because I mean, when we're doing the fashion events, I don't even get to be able to talk to anyone. Like
you're on the go.
I'm
It's like Zoom.
all the time.
Got the zoomies.
I'm like
Zoom,
5
zoom.
people all at once. So it's like, it was very nice to just sit down, talk to these people, get to see what they were talking about, and not feel alone. Because as a leader, often enough, we are super alone, because it's like, you got to pay attention to your business. You got to understand what's the brand about. You know, you got to be able to know how to represent your brand. And, you know, that's where the self-development comes from, and being able to understand where you're at. So this is where Nouveau Networking took a whole nother level of self-development, self-improvement, and learning from other people that have been doing it for a very long
Well,
time.
we got to thank everybody that was involved. Give them a
Yes.
big round of applause. especially Marlena, because she deserves it.
Well,
And,
thank you. You know, I have this team has just been over the years. I wouldn't be able to know how much. If I dropped $1,000 in your bank account, direct deposit from Marlena Garcia, just so you know, that's for you. Or, you know,
I will be happy to accept. Thank you
maybe
very
more.
much.
You know, I'm just saying it for the meantime.
No, we don't do it for the money. Obviously,
No.
we do it for the connections. Mm-hmm. Okay, and that's people are like, well, you're not charging at the door. That's right, because we want people to connect. We want them to grow, and by doing that, that actually can help us.
Right.
We can find people that we want to collaborate with.
Yeah, like
Okay,
tonight.
and then maybe they want to invest in us. Maybe we want to invest in them.
Yes.
In some way. Oh, and by the way, you guys weren't the only ones in the room with others. You guys met these guys tonight, which are going to be here tonight. They're here tonight. You already saw that, and you had a chat with them as well, and that's why they're here tonight. And so we want to welcome them. And we got a little video that we can play. Should we take a look at the video? I think we should take a look at the video so you can get an idea of what these ladies do. Okay, so we'll roll the video and then we'll be right back with our two guests.
All right.
All right, ladies.
All I kept thinking about from that video is where was I? Like, where was I? Why didn't anybody call me? Like, wow. Tell me about that night.
Feel every night. Yeah, that pretty much is every night. It's that was a compilation of all of the nights. That's pretty much what every night I think is. For us.
That's how me and Steph met.
Yeah, that's literally.
Mm.
Yeah, I think you were talking about how you wanted to present Nouveau networking to people. And I know that the nightlife space and industry is a little bit, maybe not so much controversial, but for a lot of people, they may not want to be seen in nightlife all the time because they, you know, I think a lot of people get like kind of a stigma or a bad rap for like being out all the time, you know, because associating with drinking and, you know, drugs and all of that. And it's like, it has like a bad rap. But like what I wanted to bring through with this video was how much fun we actually have and all the good parts of nightlife.
Right.
And we're very lucky to have a huge community of people in Boston that are like obsessed with music. And as much as we just love music.
Right.
And kind of the same way you wanted to, you know, you want to bring people together through the ways that you did it at your networking event. But we feel like music is the way we feel we can bring a lot of people together. So
well, I mean, one of the things that intrigued me, because you came up to me after and you showed me the card, because that was one of our icebreakers. I wanted everyone to write one word on the card.
Yeah,
what did you want to get from networking? What did you want to gain? And I said it either was money, your future wife, your future husband, and it was so intriguing on what you put. It was re-representation, and that spoke volumes to me. So I know you told me when we were talking about it that night, but for the audience that don't know, what is your definition through women's and nightlife or representation? What does that mean for you?
Well,
or both of you?
Yeah, no, I think we're obviously both on the same page with that. But we obviously go out a lot. And the more we went out, we kind of noticed our guy friends very easily being able to just be new to the scene and then suddenly start saying to us, you know, I can get you into the club. I know the owner. And it's usually a guy.
Right.
but we're like, well, we've been going out for how long now? We also know the owner.
Right.
But then we were like, well, why aren't there any female owners around here?
Yeah, we were trying to think about, the female owners, and we were like,
Or like
why?
managers, or
I mean, there must be some, like, especially in Boston, you would think that there could potentially be more, and they just were never represented,
Right.
And
Yeah.
I
yeah,
mean,
so yeah, and then the more we kind of looked or just thought about it, we were like, there really are no women. Okay, and this is our thought at first.
Right.
We thought there really are no women running these clubs at all. Like it's always a guy owner or a guy manager or a guy promoter, or we're getting to a guy's table, or anybody at the door, and we were like, why aren't more women running this? I mean, some, especially because some clubs have, like I said, that stigma, and then girls sometimes will go to the club and not feel safe, and we just feel like more female representation at the clubs would be beneficial to them.
We actually ran into a female manager at Down Ultra Lounge. Julia, she manages
Julia.
Down Ultra
Yes,
Lounge.
she does.
And Howl at the Moon. So shout out to Julia.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's interesting you say that, because the more we actually looked into things, we found that there are a lot of women running these clubs. But, they're the director of events and the director of sales. And we had no idea, really. But there are a lot of women running clubs. It just
Behind
seems
the
like they're
scenes.
behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And we just feel like their name should be out there. Like, I want to be able to go to this club and be like, oh, I know the director of sales. She's going to
Right.
get me in the club.
or even
Right.
highlight and showcase the women that are running these things,
Right.
because there's just not a lot of publicity out there. That there's a woman that owns this club,
Right.
or a woman-owned restaurant, or chefs and everything, and we want to publicize and and highlight them and showcase them.
Yeah, I mean,
they're
they do a lot
they're
of
doing
work.
the same exact thing.
Right. What I'm hearing, which I love, but what I'm thinking while I'm hearing you too, is that women in nightlife do get a bad rep because they're out so often. Usually when you see women, you think that they should be home, taking care of kids, have a job, and be a good girl, right? Usually when you see women in nightlife, what is it?
They're bad girls.
They're being bad girls. They're, on top of the bar table, acting up. And don't get me wrong, I have my fair share. However, there comes to a certain degree, like, what's the goal? How can you re-represent, like, what's the re-representation of a woman in nightlife? What's the goal? How would you want people to see women in nightlife now?
Well, I just feel like we have so much fun all of the time.
I agree.
Like, and there's so many of us. We're not judging each other, but there's literally so many of us, and there's no judgment around. We're going out to listen to the music. We're going out to dance.
Right.
We're having fun. We don't feel unsafe. And we are also older. I know I'm 35. I feel like we're mostly all of our friends are like in the 30s and 40s sometimes. And there's no judgment at all. And I feel like if you don't have kids, or if you, let's say you just broke up with someone and you're single again, and you want to go start having fun and everything, there shouldn't be anything wrong with you wanting to go to a club.
Right.
There really shouldn't be.
But
I
at
agree.
the same time, like, there are people in nightlife. There are women in nightlife that aren't just going out and like partying.
No, they're
and
hustling.
fun and going to shows. They're hustling. They're really making a name for themselves. They're starting up businesses. They're
Right.
entrepreneurs. They're smart. They're dedicated. They're committed to this. They're passionate about it, and they want to run it.
Yeah,
you know?
it definitely, you two, when I first met you two, I hear the passion that you want more women to be highlighted and put that spotlight shine in a positive way, instead of being looked at, hey, yes, I go out all the time, but it doesn't mean that I'm irresponsible. I make sure I pay my bills. I have the means to go out with my friends. And I agree with that. I can go out with my friends, and we have probably the most best time with each other than going out with a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what can you say for a woman that is out there, some advice or a tip, like when you're in the nightlife?
Just interject here for a second.
Yes, go ahead.
You brought up a good point earlier, and it's an escape. You're escaping. you know, and you know, it's an opportunity from a woman's perspective to get dressed up, to be her best, whether she goes out on her own or she goes out with a group of people or an organization, and just have a good time,
Right.
whether she wants to drink or not, if she wants to talk to a guy or not. And I think from what I'm sort of getting from what you and Allie have created, is that is you want to help create a pathway for these women to join you ladies at all these different venues, that maybe they can skip the line. They don't have to, like, you know, hit on the door guy, right? They don't have to, like, you know, schmooze with the GM, because, well, you two have already done that. And you've already created the pathway for them, right? But, you know, they have an opportunity to go to these different venues and have a good time. And you'll help show them that. It's like with 617 Productions. I've known Ace for like 25 years. And that's what he's done, like, all over the city, which is they have like a number of clubs that if you want to get bottle service, you want to get in, you call up Ace, you call up Dimitri, and boom, you're in. Well, you're like the female version of that. And that's a very popular thing.
Right.
And those guys have been, you know, all over the city for a long time, and the who's who in the zoo calls them. And you're just the female version of it, which I think is a good thing.
Yes.
I think another important part of women in nightlife that we want to get across too is, like, that's the image we want to promote for ourselves and our business. But the business itself, because we're trying to increase female representation,
Right.
and we want to empower more women to be the face of things, or step up and create and start their own projects, start throwing their own events. You know, we know plenty of people throwing events. They're usually guys, but we want to encourage more women to do that. And so we want to do that through networking events for people in the industry.
Right.
And that's also, you know, it's getting people that have been through it, that are entrepreneurs, like our, you know, our last event at Lamari, you know, the head chef and owner spoke at it. We had, you know, the director of Nightlife of the city of Boston.
Shout out to Kern Reynolds.
Yeah.
Yay. Karen Reynolds.
You know, and we're, you know, we had these people kind of, you know, speaking about what they've been through and kind of, you know, what they're about and what they're doing, and showcasing and highlighting it. And it's
Right.
not just about that partying aspect of it. And it's also, you know, hopefully inspiring and encouraging people that actually want to go into the nightlife field and actually want to, like, you know, grow in it.
Right.
It's inspiring them to kind of go off and do their own thing and you know, start those parties and you know, and really just make a name for themselves as well, and
Right.
not just be under another guy's
Exactly.
control.
Exactly. And that's what was so important personally
Good
for
answer.
me.
Good answer.
Right. You know, no, I totally agree with that. This is why personally for me, Nuvo was so important, because I saw more and more individuals that wanted to get into this industry, and it's very cutthroat. You know, people won't talk to you if you don't have a name for yourself or you're not presentable. And instead of you going into entertainment or just staying in education, we wanted to combine the two, right? We host production, right? We have these events that we do all the time. We want to be able to have people, like, don't get me wrong, people that do production, it's a full-time, like, your mind, your body, and your soul is into production, right? Like, you can even have fun when you're in production, because, not saying I don't have fun, but I have fun. The difference is that I'm not having the fun that you're having when you're a guest. You know, my fun is backstage.
I don't have any fun.
You either. But it's like we're there.
We're working.
You don't even smile, Michael.
Yeah, well, I have to.
Yeah,
We'll take you to the club. Mike.
right.
Smiling now.
But the time that we're there in the morning and by the time we leave at night, it's an ongoing thing, you know?
Yeah.
So we want to help people get into the industry, not only through entertainment, but education, you know, soft skills, leadership, being able to run your own management. And you can get that through us, you know, because we hold so many circuits and we know so many people, and what way is better than to go through someone that's already doing it, you know?
Yeah.
Instead of, you know, don't get me wrong, startups go do their own thing and then they get lost in it and they don't find, they feel like they don't have the support or the
Yeah.
community. because they're doing it on their own the whole time.
Exactly.
You know,
Yep.
and this is why we wanted to bring you on and talk to you, because we understand. You know, we understand how it is to be alone. We understand how it is to do it on your own. And, you know, loyalty and community is so important
Right.
that that's who you're going to fall on no matter what you're going through. You know,
How long have you guys been doing this now?
Like 2.5 months.
Yeah.
2.5? Okay. How long?
2.5 months.
They're in the
Oh, yeah, I thought you said 2.5 years.
Started-
So this is fairly new for you.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
got them early.
Here we go. I guess we did.
Yeah,
The ground floor, right?
Community is very important. To
So what establishments have you worked with so far in the
Well,
Boston area?
we had one event so far.
One
We're
event.
Very proud
Okay.
of this.
Okay, and how did that go?
You think it went well? Like you said, I couldn't enjoy it from the
Yeah, welcome
spectator's
to our
point of
world.
view, but
Welcome to our
We
world.
did sell out, so that's a
We
good
sold it
thing.
at
Oh,
Hey,
good. What
wow.
venue was this?
Perfect.
At Lamari.
Yes,
Lamari. Where's that located?
It's a female-owned restaurant
Oh,
by
okay.
Chef Lee Whitaker. Also, shout out to Chef
Yeah.
Lee and
Okay.
Diane.
Yes.
It's a female-owned restaurant on Newbury Street, and
Newbury.
they had opened this past July.
So they are new and you're new.
Yeah,
That's a
so-
good way to do it, because
Yeah,
then you can
we
learn and grow together.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
There you go.
we're doubling as promoters in a sense, and marketing promotion is definitely part of what we also want to do, because as we find, we are actively trying to search very hard for female-owned businesses, restaurants, this and that. It's really interesting because when you Google female-owned restaurants, I really like about 5 of the same ones come up all the time. And it's really, really difficult to find the women that are running things around the city. So we want to find them and then promote them and bring them out into the open. And so we want to be Boston's biggest promoters.
There you go. So you're going to give Ace and my friend TJ Green, who's also done like the Roxy for years. I mean, the Royale, excuse me.
Oh, yeah, he's
that's
been
that's
around.
how long it's been.
He's been around.
He started when it was Roxy.
But they don't.
Now
But
it's
they
Royale.
don't put on events.
No, they
You know,
don't put on.
they're-
Well, no, yeah, TJ does. I
Well-
think Ace does too.
But not like this.
Not like this. No.
Not like this. Okay.
No, not like
I mean,
this, no.
Ace, and Dimitri and those guys, they're not putting on. I mean, they do, but generally, it's you want to get in, you want to get bottle service, you call them, they hook you up, blah blah blah, and they do their own parties too,
Which are
They have-
promoters.
They have like the white party, at the tall ships,
that's
but
the
this
other
is a
thing.
networking event where you're connecting women that have careers, and then you also, and I mentioned this to you earlier, that because there's this nightlife spin on it all, you get a lot of younger women coming on the scene that might not know how to navigate through this, and everybody needs a mentor, and they come into your group and they get a female mentor, and that's really cool.
Yeah, I specifically with the nightlife space too, I've always found women that work in the nightlife space to be very interesting. Bartenders, promoters, bottle girls, I think that they have to have the best people skills.
Dynamic.
Like
be very
the
dynamic.
personality, the
Right.
confidence, the look on top of everything. They also have to keep their composure around drunk people all
Sure.
of the time. There's a lot of sales skills involved with promoting in general and promoting yourself. And I think that there's a lot of overlap, like you were saying, with the skills that these women have. I feel like it gets overlooked a lot. And I really think that if you really looked at all the skills that these women have, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of overlap. It could really be helping these female-owned businesses that are not getting visibility. Specifically, let's talk, for example, restaurants. There's a lot of female-owned restaurants that are either outside the city, or they just have to work harder to get their business out there. And we're bringing these people and a bunch of female promoters that are willing to help out. That's right there. It's marketing. I don't know. There's
Right.
so much overlap that I feel like is it could be so valuable to people.
So what I can say from a psychological standpoint is it's a known fact that women that are in the front fourth line of a boss, they're not like a man. They don't have the emotional capacity like a man does, right? And
or lack thereof, meaning that
And this is why it's so
like
important.
men are emotionless.
Men are straight cut. okay? Women aren't. We are emotional beings. We feel through things. We have an intuition. And that right there stunts our growth a little bit. We get in our own ways just because we are naturally designed like that. Men are not. Men are like, I have a vision and I have a goal and no one's going to get in between that. That doesn't mean that women are not like that. It's just we're a little bit more different than them. And when you do see women that are having businesses and they have to have this tough exterior with them, it's because they went through a lot of shit. Okay? They went through a lot of stuff.
Good self-edit. I like that. It sounded like I did that.
But then you also have people that help them along the way. Okay, for instance, you have a woman that owns a whole business. She's running the inventory. Like I had a boss. Shout out to Anna Barrios. That was my very first boss. She taught me how to clean and everything. She was like, Marlena, you're gonna smile at my customers. I'm done with this RBF. But she was one of the first women that I respected because she did her own inventory. She was money managing. She was able to talk to the customers when they came in. She just did everything. And she also had men mentoring her. I respect that.
For sure.
Because it's like men they don't care about the emotional standpoint. They don't care if we're tired. They don't care if we're like, we just had to deal with 10 people. They will do it with a breeze. And I'm like, I want to be like a man sometimes because it's like, how do they do that? Where do they get that from? But I love what you said, that you want to be able to bring those women that are in the boss and like boss scenery, right? They're doing it every single day and they want people like you to go to them, say, hey, we want to promote you more. How can we be able to expose the fact that you have, not expose like that, but expose that your restaurant is still visible, right? And what better ways from getting it through from a woman?
Yeah.
Right.
I also feel like people tend to put themselves in a box, and especially women. I feel like women are very used to like having to act a certain way, like emotional and sensitive and things like that. And they may not be, but because we're just so used to like having to act like that, sure, I feel like we all, for the most part, act like that. But like you don't have to act like that. You can act more like a man in a sense, so you're more straightforward. And if you learn those skills and inspired to, if you learn that,
It'll be easier.
Well, so I'd like to interject here. So, as you know, I've been in the nightlife a very long time. I owned a club 25 years ago. I get it. My sister, 3 kids. She's probably, the most well-rounded woman I've known in my life. She was a bartender for like 20 years. And she's worked at all different types of places. And when you have kids and you're a bartender, you develop thick skin. And you learn to not give a shit. And you tell people like it is that, you need to leave my place or I'm calling the police.
Right.
Or you say to a boss, I can't come in for blah, 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 because my kid is sick. Yeah.
Right.
I think in today's world, which we kind of see within a bit of our government, that a lot of men don't know how to handle a tough woman. They don't know how to handle a woman that's got Teflon exterior.
Well, I also feel the same about men too, that men, because they feel like they have to act that certain way, that they feel like maybe they're not allowed or they're not, they're like looked at differently if they show like their sensitive side and their vulnerable side, and it might be looked at differently. And I feel like it's the same for both ends. We feel like we have to act in a certain way, and if we don't, then people are going to judge. But like if we all just feel safe enough to act the opposite.
Well, the nightlife's a tough business.
It is very tough.
So you got to be tough.
Societal
Exactly.
norms.
It is, yeah.
You have to break the culture. That's what it is. Like, how they say we wait until the industry changes? No, we have to be the one to change the industry. This is why going back to Nuvo was very important. We have to be able to have people that come in and help them a little bit. I don't get me wrong. Like, when I first came into, nobody helped me until I started asking the questions that were very complex.
Yeah.
And I had to go to those people that were going to answer those types of questions for me. I couldn't go to somebody that didn't know what I was talking about. Because then they were like, what are you talking about? Like, I want to know too.
Yeah.
So when you get around more people and they start to resonate with you and you start doing the same exact things, it becomes a flow. Like you have the same goal,
Yeah.
essentially, right? But what has the feedback been going in? Like you said, it's 2 months and a half. Like, what's the feedback gone so far? The trajectory. You gone to these networking events? Have you gone like? Would you have more women to say yes? We want you. We need you.
I mean, there's been a lot of support, and I do just want to add. I know that we were kind of talking about like we want, of course, like these women to like get inspiration and everything from the women that have been through a lot and have gone through the ringer and are like that entrepreneurial spirit. But we do partner, like even women in nightlife, we partner with men as well. Like it's not just like it's a women's club and we're just trying to just
even though that would be nice,
be all women.
Yeah.
Like we understand.
We're glad that you're not gender biased
Yeah,
there.
no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No, that's actually in response to your question. Actually, I mean, I think I wasn't surprised because we have a lot of great guy friends in our whole community. I guess I was just pleasantly surprised, I guess, by how many of them were so insistent on helping us, and they were like so genuinely happy.
Well, that's how we met, was through a mutual male friend.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know this gal. She's wonderful. She's got this great thing going on. Why don't you talk to her, get her going, and boom, here you are.
Yeah, and I mean, we had.
So you invited them that night.
Yeah, that was me.
Okay.
Yeah, you know that? That was me.
And we had like 3 male photographers. Thank you to all 3 of you guys. Like they showed up. And I didn't even know 2 of them were coming. And yeah, so the feedback has been great. I have not really gotten anything that's been discouraging at all.
Well, you ladies are very nice.
Well, if you're a woman, when you're a woman, let's say, if you're a woman that has a restaurant or is an entrepreneur and wants to work with, Stephanie and Allie that are in the nightlife, and you want to link up with them, you can search them up on Instagram, woman_nightlife. Was it
Women
yes.
underscore
Nightlife, but it's spelled like N-I.
Yeah, I couldn't get the NIGHT.
And they are phenomenal. I do
You
agree
can
with
also
Josh.
get them on
Well,
Facebook
Get
too.
them on
Daddy.
Facebook too.
Yeah, Women in Nightlife. There you go. Just search for it.
And, we were talking so much positivity, so I'm going to be the devil's advocate here. And we're going to talk about some cons about the nightlife, okay? So what are some things that you would like to see for women? Because we were just talking about it off air, but now that we're on air, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people that are in the nightlife or do work in the nightlife, how we were just touching base, how we have to get that tough exterior. Why do we need to get that tough exterior? What's the con about that?
Okay. So part of some of the feedback that we've gotten was when one of our friends or when another woman comes up, for you, for example, you created a new networking company as well. And then when you start gaining followers and you start gaining traction, people then, I feel like, might come to us and say, oh, well, look at Marlena, Nuvo Networking it's doing better than you. That's what pisses me off a little bit, because it's like men are constantly in competition with each other, throwing these networking events or just events in general all over the city, and that's a normal thing. But when there's a woman that comes up and she has a networking event, and God forbid there's another woman doing the same thing, all of a sudden it's a battle of the females, and we're gonna see any woman that comes up with a project or starts their own business that is doing better than us. We do not see that as competition at all. That is the whole point of women in nightlife.
I feel
We want
safe.
women to
We want more representation.
I feel very
with the
safe.
females.
Well, that's it. Listen, that's a very good point that you bring up. I mean, look at Anne Marie in Boston,
Right.
for example. Before she started her organization, they had the Boston Man magazine organization, and he had a really great concept and whatnot. But it was good that they came out with another organization that was, did sort of similar, but female owned.
Yeah.
female-owned, and that puts a different spin to it.
I mean, and all business, you need competition anyway.
Listen,
If it's healthy, yes.
Yeah.
Healthy competition, I agree with. But if it's unhealthy, just leave it at home at that point. Go deal with your demons at home. Just leave us alone. Like, we're not.
Remember the goal.
Yeah, like, remember the goal. If you're trying to help people, just do that. Like, it's just to a certain degree. If you're hurting people's lives and you're just being as bad as the people that are killing other people, like, you know what? It comes to a certain degree. Like, stop hurting people. It comes to when are we gonna get to the point where helping each other and making this community stronger instead of constantly saying, "Oh, there's nothing in Boston." Why is there nothing in Boston?
Right,
because constantly
it is very cliquey here. It's very cliquey, and I feel like it can be very difficult to meet people here because I moved here from New Jersey and I could not find any friends for like 4 years.
And I can imagine in New Jersey,
from like one jungle to another.
Like, you're straight on, like, you have a bit more bigger person. Like, New York, people have big personalities there.
Yeah.
And Boston, they do, but we overshadow it a little bit because of the fact that we don't want to look as mass holes.
Well, I think this is what differs from here to New York or LA. It's hard to make a friend here in Boston, but when you got a friend, you got a true friend.
Right.
Versus a fair weather friend in New York or in LA.
And then when you meet one friend,
just got to work harder for it. That's all.
And look,
everything you work harder for is better, though. Think about that.
So, I mean, in our relationship right now is an example, right? We met through friends. So, and everybody's benefit from that and supports each other. So,
but I can say people, over the years, people change. People, have a change of heart and stuff like that. So it's not all about, what you're not doing for the community. It's like, when you win, you're helping others win instead of seeing it from a greedy way. Greed is a word that people, it's filthy. Greed is filthy. And because of that, people just want to get anything that they can and keep it to themselves and gatekeep it. But what it comes from the woman in Nightlife, you're not like that. You want to help people, whether if you're a woman or a man, or trans. Like, there's no, preference. Like, there's no certain preference that you're just focusing on, and you're just wanting to help more women, have a better representation, and I almost see it like a union. Like, you ever heard of like a union? Because when you're when you're signed to a union, they protect you on certain things, right? When you're non-union, if you get hurt on set and stuff, that's it. You get hurt on set. You don't get paid.
Right. You're on your own.
That. You're on your own at that point. But with a union, I was just me and my other friend were just talking about this. Like, I love it when I'm around other powerful women or men that are healed, because then I feel safe enough to let go a little bit. I don't have to have my guard up. I don't have to feel like I'm, being suppressed in a way.
Right. Yeah.
And what you're trying to do, it's more people are gonna see it. Keep going out there. Do not get afraid with the competition. Do not see it as your baby either. It's going to get aggressive. There's a lot of aggression in this, industry, and, you have to be able to have solid people on your corner.
Yeah, right.
And because, like you said,
if you need to.
It is very cliquey, and the word does go around. So it's all about when you're doing good, just focus on the good.
Yeah, but you get your own posse now, so you're going to have your own clique.
Speaking of doing good, what's next? What's next for you guys?
What is next?
Anything planned?
Well, we have a few possible partnerships that could be pretty interesting.
Two in particular. That
but we don't want to say anything yet because we have, they haven't agreed to it.
There you go. Okay, you can keep it a secret for now.
They will, but
Do we have to sign NDAs after this? I'm just wondering. Okay, we're fine. Ladies, we have to wrap it up because we're winding down right now. Do you want to give them your personal Instagram and stuff to follow? Go ahead.
Sure, yeah. Obviously, you can follow us on Women in Nightlife, and night is spelled Nite. And then my Instagram is pretty_Steph. Pretty is also my last name, so I'm not just calling myself that.
Yep. And mine is a Pitre, PITRE, so my last name and my first.
Very good. And they can also find you on Facebook, so we can bring up the Facebook page again. So they can see that. But that's spelled N-I-G-H-T.
Yeah, that's spelled right.
Yeah, that's spelled. Okay, that's spelled
And
right.
you know, on Allie's page, she says music is my love language. So it's not
Okay,
all about
good. I like
you know
that.
restaurants.
That's
it's not all
good.
about businesses. It's all about the music as
That's
well.
good,
So
that's good.
you know, they
Right.
care about the music. They care about these DJs, whether if you're a woman or a man.
Okay.
Hit them up.
Well, once again, we want to say big to our guy Joshua
Yes.
here. Thank you again.
Happy
Joshua.
Should have brought the
yes.
Nightlife.
Yes, yes.
I know.
Had I known.
And we wish him many happy
Bottle service
returns.
up in here. You know?
We wish him many happy returns.
Well, thank you for showing up and
yeah,
showing out.
thank you very much for coming
It's been
through.
a great time,
And
and
we really loved your event too. I really have to say
Yeah,
that. We really,
we appreciate
really
it
loved
so
it.
well, you're gonna get a
It was
personal
amazing.
invitation then, because you know we will want you there. We want you in the room, and just keep talking to these people that are also beginners.
Yes, and thank you
Very
so
good.
much, Mike and Josh, for having
Yeah,
us.
thank you
We
guys
really
for having
appreciate
us.
it.
Well, that wraps it up for us. We'll be back next week with some kind of show. I don't know what yet. In a couple weeks, we get
These are blending.
we got a Fashion Hour TV in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
There's some good guests on that one. So stay tuned for that, and you know, have a good weekend as well, and stay fresh and stay safe and stay good. Right.